Hey guys, if I have to sit through another meeting of somebody doing this one thing wrong, or another phone call where somebody continues to do this, trying to sell me stuff, which I can be a good customer, my mind's gonna blow, so I have to get this out of me. If you are in sales or if you own your own business and you want to make more sales and your sales interactions, you want them to improve, I'm telling you guys, there is some core stuff that I want to help you out with. Now that's not to say I've got it all figured out, but I guess I can only tell you, I think if you ask the people that I interact with, when it comes to sales and when it comes to running my own business, I think they'll say that I may have something to add here. And I've had, at minimum, probably 6,000-7,000 interactions with people at a professional or a very deep manner, but pretty much professionally. And all I want to do is help you out. If you feel like your sales aren't humming, if you feel like when you're in an interaction, it doesn't feel quite right, or maybe you feel like you're making all the great points and stuff's not happening, I want to give you some tips and some pointers. Here's the bottom line. Number one, show genuine curiosity in the other person. Doggone it. I don't care how much you have to say. A really good salesperson is excellent at drawing out of the other person with amazing questions. This should be common sense. Most people that would watch a video that's entitled How to Be a Better Salesperson just rolled their eyes, and you're probably going to click off because you're like, I already knew that already. But there's a bunch of you out there that forget just because you have lots to say doesn't mean it needs to be said. A, I'm guilty of that. But B, if you want to connect with people, if you want to win the favor and the trust of people, the first thing you have to do is you need to be worthy of trust. And the way that you become worthy of trust is that, why don't people trust people? They don't trust people because they think they're out for their own gain and their own best interest. That's the cynicism that most people have of other people, particularly if there's a sale transaction that could be happening. You're just trying to screw me to get my money. That may be the worst version of it, or it could be, you're going to position yourself to try and ask for something from me, right? That's the natural state. We're all that way. If you are trying to sell, the first thing you got to do is you need to understand who that person is, which means you need to get to know them. People get way too formal and forget that underneath this professional thing is a person that's going to go home today and is going to live their life. You should figure out what that looks like. Now, there are certain cases where it needs to be highly formal, and it's all about the closing. And this is here in Minnesota. I do small business stuff. I help I've done retail sales so that, I'm not in hyper formal situations, but I think it's true there too. The first thing you need to do is connect with the person. You need to do that and not have it feel like a waste of time, and that's difficult. So what I do is I kind of go back and forth and pull in 2 or 3 different levers, and the 2 top levers, pulling a lever like on a tractor, right? You pull a lever on a machine. The first lever I'm pulling is to connect with the person. Connect personally. It's not about making them your friend. It's just about finding some common ground. And the only way you can do that is by asking questions. And the only way you'll ask questions is if you nurture a genuine, authentic curiosity about people, which you need to have. When you're across from somebody, you should be thinking, I wonder if they got kids. I wonder if they're single. I wonder how long they've been single. I wonder what she was like in high school. I wonder what he was like in high school. What do you suppose he does on his weekends off? What do you suppose... And then once you find out some of those, then it should be, I wonder how often he goes hunting. What type of stuff does he hunt? How does he make decisions about how he buys guns? I may not care about it, but you don't have to care about everything. But you need to go through and find out how can you ask questions of other people and then get on their turf, get on their likes, dislikes. Doesn't mean become a chameleon to all where you just shape shift and lie and scheme in order to make people like you. No. It's about authentically knowing who you are and then drawing out of that person what they're like. So I think you start with least formal to more intimate, very little intimacy to deeper intimacy. You want to move in intimacy with people, and not romantic intimacy, but in unveiling who they are. So, you might start out with just asking, so where'd you grow up? Are you from this area here or what? Now, in some instances, that might not be great, but I always start with, that's such an easy thing. You can start with the weather. You can start with asking, where are they from? Have they lived here for a long time? Where did they grow up? And then you can move on to, so now I always ask the same question. You get cats, dogs, fish, kids, husbands. And what I'm doing is I'm moving from least harmful, potential harm, to most, because if they've had a broken marriage, someone cheated on them, a spouse die, a kid die, single and not wanting to be single, there's so many instances where you just have to be sensitive that could be a bad area. So you want to give them an out. So I always start with pets, because even if you've had a pet die, it's not that big of a deal. So hey, so what does life look like for you? You got cats, dogs, kids, hobbies, fish, husband. What do you do? And then they can go wherever they want with it. That would be my number one thing. You want to ask some specific stuff, but ultimately you want to get asking good, open questions about their life. But if you're in a professional setting and you're talking to somebody, if you were calling on Best Buy and you were with their buyer and you were trying to make a sale there, you cannot waste their time. You have to make very efficient time. So you have to be cognizant of each situation. That person, you have this equity bucket, right? And you have this bank, right? And it's a relational, or it's a trust bank. Trust bank is probably the best way to say it. The more you invest into learning about them, the more you invest about learning about their company, the more you invest in learning about everything about them, their company, their career, their situation, it puts deposits in that bank.